The pro eaters competing on dietbet.com lost 79 pounds together, and they walked away with about $200 in winnings each. They plan to keep the challenge going by upping the ante instead of their waistline. Now, if you think you can't work up a sweat from simply stretching, you might be thinking wrong. Apparently, those who really engage in extending their workouts here wind up really feeling it. The need here is definitely a great one. Last year, at this pantry alone, they served about 1.9 million meals to more than 25,000 New York City families. Even with his proposed ease up on illegal possession laws, Governor Cuomo said in the past that legalizing marijuana for medical reasons comes with his, quote, tremendous risks. So it may take a lot more convincing to change that perspective. Jamie was born with a birthmark known as port wine stain. It gets its name because of, well, how it looks, like a splash of red wine on the skin. It usually appears on the face, neck, arms, or legs, and only about 3 out of every 1,000 people have it. The once-a-day pill Truvada, a combo of 2 medications, is already used to treat HIV. Now FDA advisors say it should be approved to prevent it in high-risk populations. This after 3 major studies showing the drug reduced new infection rates up to 76% and more than 90% when also practicing safe sex.
The thinking is that you could get these 2 medications, both of them work against the virus. If you have them at the site of infection, meaning where the virus is entering the person, and in most cases it would be sexual exposure, then the theory is that if you have the drugs on board there, they can actually prevent the virus from establishing infection in the first place.
The treatment is also known as pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP. More than 50,000 Americans are still newly infected with HIV every year. Doctors say approval of Truvada or other drugs like it to guard against the virus could be a game changer where traditional methods have failed. But they caution it's just another method of protection and not a substitute.
It still should not be thought of a replacement for a condom. And I think that's the critical message here. It's for people who are in certain high-risk situations, perhaps if they're HIV negative and they're in a committing relationship with an HIV positive partner, then yes, they may want to consider going on Truvada.
If approved for this use, just like doctors will emphasize that Truvada is not a replacement for condoms, they'll also be reminding patients that it's not protective against other STDs. The FDA usually follows the recommendations of its advisory panels. Approval of Truvada for preventive use is being fast-tracked because there's no other drug like it. That means a final decision could come within weeks. Kafi Drexel, New York 1. For the past 15 years, Assemblyman Richard Gottfried has been pressing bills in different forms to legalize medical marijuana in New York State. With a newly revamped bill that would have the toughest restrictions in the nation and fresh support from State Senator Dianne Savino, he's hoping the 15th attempt will be a charm.
Thousands of New Yorkers suffer serious, debilitating, and life-threatening illnesses whose lives could be made longer and more tolerable if we allowed the medical use of marijuana as treatment for them under medical supervision.
One of those New Yorkers is Wanda Hernandez. She has ongoing health challenges due to her HIV status and admits to sometimes running the risk of lighting up illegally for relief.
The Compassionate Care Act, as we're calling it, would actually help me with my nutrition. For me, a lot of the medications I take for pain, they're very toxic.
Doctors on both sides of the debate are split on whether to legalize or not.
I think that it's a very useful tool, useful drug. I don't think we've managed to copy its effects with some of the synthetic things that are out there.
It's hard to know about dosing, and what we do is with medications, we have clinical trials, and with marijuana, the way it's administered, there's really almost no way to know, truly know dosage.
Even with his proposed ease up on illegal possession laws, Governor Cuomo said in the past that legalizing marijuana for medical reasons comes with his, quote, tremendous risks. So it may take a lot more convincing to change that perspective. Gottfried would like to see the debate continue with a state assembly vote before the end of the legislative session on June 21st. If the state Senate chooses to take up his bill, that won't happen until early 2013. Kafi Drexel, New York 1. So a lot of us see the six-pack as one of the ultimate signs of being physically fit, but also for a lot of us, we see it as almost next to impossible to achieve. Well, I'm here with Greg Cook of Equinox, and he says actually you can do it, and there's actually a science behind it. So Greg, what do you mean by that?
Well, the science behind the six-pack is ultimately about achieving a core or a musculature around your spine that not only supports and stabilizes the spine, but also is mobile.
Anyone can log on to q.equinox.com for free to check out Cook's six-pack tutorial. Some of his tougher moves guaranteed for ripped abs once you've had some serious experience include flexion or bending moves like leg lifts on a pull-up bar, a headstand where you slowly move your legs from side to side for a lateral flexion move, and pull-ups with a kung fu kick for a rotational ab move. Until you can work up to any of that, you might want to get started with a stability exercise called the star plank. Oh my god, I actually lifted myself off the ground. Challenging, but almost doable. Then there's the roll back, jump up mobility move.
This one's all about basically kind of breaking your fall, rolling gracefully and getting right back up again. So you're going to take most of your body weight onto the back leg, roll down round the spine, tuck your chin, roll it back up, drive to that standing leg.
And you can try topping your six-pack workout off with an opposite leg, opposite arm extension exercise.
You're done.
There we go. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks. All right, so I don't want to be gratuitous, but Greg, I think after all of that, now you have to show us your six-pack. If we're doing a story on aging, we'd ask how old you are.
What if I lost it? All right. So the six-pack is still here.
So there it is. So if you want that and you want to check out more moves, you can go to q.equinox.com. I'm Kafi Drexel for New York One.